Chatters, I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I'm your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here is your disclaimer, chatters. The following Crime Chat does contain adult content and will contain gross, disgusting, graphic, just scenarios. So your listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, well, you've been warned. So, but before we get into today's Crime Chat, Kat, what have you done and where the hell are you? Where are we? We're in space?
Around the world. That reminds me, actually. So I was trying to think, if there's anything I watched. I've been traveling, so I haven't really, watched anything. Mm-hmm. But before I left, I watched Space Cowboys. I had never seen that before. Have you seen it?
A long time ago. I don't remember, though. Was it good? I want to say it was good. I just don't remember it enough to talk about it. But yeah, I watched it a long time. It's an old movie.
It is an old movie. And Chris was like, I can't believe you've never seen it. And I was like, no. I mean, it's got Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes, I remember.
Clint Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the other two faces and I can't think of their names. Anyways, retired guys who now are the only ones that can fix the satellite thing. And there's, oh, by the way, there's nuclear weapons on the satellite.
Oh, boy.
But it was really good. So speaking of space, that's what it reminded me of that. But yeah, so I am traveling. Well, I did travel.
Yeah. Oh.
And it took me over 48 hours to go 600 miles.
That's insane. You could have drove there, number one.
I know.
Number two, I'm shocked that they did not reimburse you.
Well, they said it was because of weather. They don't do that. They couldn't put me in a hotel. If it was a mechanical thing, they would. Because it would be their fault. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I mean, I get that. They can't control the weather. So I got kicked out of the Admiral's Lounge at 2 a.m.
Why? Because you drink it too much or they were closing?
They closed.
Oh, okay.
And actually, they were supposed to close at 11. But because the people in the desk there, there were so many cancellations and rebookings and everything. So they stayed later to help everybody with their flight stuff. So 2 a.m., I'm like, where do I go? Even if I did call around to a few hotels in the area going, do you have anything available?
Yeah.
I can Uber there and then I'll come back the next day. I called 4 or 5 different places and I'm like, you know what? It's only going to be for a few hours, I guess. So, and then I went and found the USO. USO didn't open until 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. So I have 4 hours to go. What do I do? And I found a spot on the floor right outside of the USO. I was not the only one. There was a whole line of people up against the wall.
Yeah.
And I just stayed there. And the USO actually opened early. They opened at 5:30. So I got in early, staked my claim to a big, oversized, comfy recliner, and I slept.
Yeah. Good.
I slept for at least 3 hours, I think, by the time I got in and everything. Because my flight wasn't until, I think boarding was at 1. So, yeah.
That's a long time.
It was a long ass. Yeah. And then I looked up that it wasn't just the weather, because there was these bands of really bad thunderstorms. It was one right after the other, which was some of the problems. But Thursday morning, there was also an FAA outage at Newark Airport, and it was down for 1 or 2 minutes. It was really quick, but critical time is when the planes are landing and taking off and how everything is slotted so particularly. Of course, planes were getting ready to land. Mm-hmm. They had to stay in the air, which means, and then the ones that were taken off, they had to wait. Yeah. So that backed a lot of things up, especially when you have the inbound flights was coming from Newark. It wasn't going to be on time because of this whole delay. And even though it was only I want to say it was less than 2 minutes, that could cause chaos, just wreak havoc on the entire air traffic system.
That's crazy.
Not just at Newark. So, between that and then the weather, it was just a hot mess. My back did not appreciate laying on the floor.
No, I bet. Did you, when you got to the hotel, did you take a nice bath?
I was going to.
Yeah, you should.
And I get in here and there's no tub. It's just a shower. I was like, fuck.
It's messed up, man. That's messed
Seriously,
up.
I was going to take a nice hot bath. Mm-hmm. But I was like, well, it's fine.
Does the hotel have a pool and a jacuzzi? A hot tub?
They have a pool, and I don't know why I didn't think about bringing my bathing suit. I can go get one. But because it's actually, the pool is also really good for like exercising with my healing conditions. So, because the doctor mentioned the doctor also mentioned swimming as a form of exercise that's not like impactful or anything like that. So I was excited because I know when I get home after this trip, my pool will be ready and I'll be able to swim all the time. So when I get here, I have a lot of coworkers, some of the people I worked with before, some faces I recognized, but hadn't really actually met, so kind of got to meet them, and then some new faces too. But the word is spreading. Everybody still listens. So thank you guys.
Listening to us.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Hi, cat coworkers. Hello. I feel like I know you guys already.
So I got a feedback from my assignment from my professor last week.
Uh-huh.
I saw it last night. But what he said was, I really appreciate your AI comment in your last episode. Do you remember we were talking about AI?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, he listened.
Yes.
So, hi, Professor. I told him. I said, I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
No,
Students should not be using AI. They have not earned the right. No.
Yes. But, I mean, that's all pretty much of my shenanigans. So, what about you?
Okay. So I did some exciting stuff this week. So first of all, I watched some movies.
Good.
And I have one movie that's going to blow your mind. Have you ever heard of Brightburn?
No.
Okay. Brightburn. You've got to watch it. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
It's about Superman if he was bad.
Oh.
If he came to Earth and he was an evil kid, and it's really good, Cat.
2019. Okay. He's not here to save the world.
No, he destroys it. And it's really cool because the kid is a great little actor. Mm-hmm. And I was impressed because I'm not really a Marvel girl. Mm-hmm. But this, I was like, oh, it's like a horror version of Superman. I'm all in for it. And it was so worth it. Cat, you're gonna love it.
Well, Superman is the DC universe.
DC. See, there you go. I'm not a Marvel girl or a DC girl, apparently.
Well, and I was actually talking to my older son yesterday, Mother's Day, yesterday.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. And happy Puppy Mother's Day to you.
Oh, thank you.
Fur baby. My older son was telling me he went and saw the new Marvel movie that at the end of the movie they revealed the new Avengers. So they actually released it under the old name. And 2 weeks after the release, they officially changed the name and like completely redid everything. They were holding on to it until the movie actually came out. Like as this, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
So he said it was amazing. He said it was so good. The only like old Avenger is Bucky. Do you remember Bucky, the Winter Soldier? Okay. I'm not
a Marvel girl.
I know.
I think it's DC though. I like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's DC.
That one I like. I just love Gal Gadot, but
well, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, and Iron Man. Iron Man is my favorite. But the Iron Man movies, not the Avenger movies. The Iron Man movies. I loved the Iron Man 1 and 2.
Okay, so it was originally called Thunderbolts.
Okay.
And then as soon as it was released, it's like my son was saying it's like at the very end of the movie, it's like renamed the New Avengers, and it blows my mind that they would. I don't want to say waste money because it's obviously done to increase viewership and like attract people to it and say, okay, what is this all about? Yeah. But wow.
Yeah.
So he said it was really good. He's like, and I said, okay, what do I need to catch up on that I might have missed or need to rewatch before seeing it? And he's like, well, there's nothing really. So there's a new Black Widow because Scarlett Johansson character Black Widow died. She sacrificed herself to save the world.
Okay.
There's a new Captain America and the Falcon, if you even remember the Falcon. Anthony Mackie, I think, is the guy who plays the Falcon character. So, anyway.
I'm not sure. I just don't, I'm not good at the Marvel thing. I got very confused. Once they joined everything together, I stopped watching it. Like, I kind of like the individual movies.
Well, that's what got me into it because I love, like, how it all intertwines.
Yeah.
Anyway, you said Marvel and it reminded me of that.
So I am doing like a little bit of a deep dive on Tubi. Everybody's got Tubi. It's on your smart TV. It's one of the free apps.
Oh, Tubi. Okay, Tubi. Okay. I was thinking the number 2 and the letter B, like 2B.
No,
like
2B.
Apartment 2B.
No. So I would recommend going down. They have a lot of good horror movies that I didn't realize.
Okay.
And the person that I listened to like give me like some real honest critical, like what to watch, what not to watch, like, you know, he said they loaded a bunch of really great movies that you've never heard of. And one of them, I just watched it before I got on here because I'm like, I have to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And it's called Caveat. And Kat, holy crap. It's a Scottish movie, all right? It's got paranormal in it. It's got a psychopath. It's got murder. It's got a twist. I mean, seriously, like a serious twist. And it's got the scariest freaking puppet that beats the drums. Like, you know how like those monkey with the drums? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, they did a taxidermy rabbit with these crazy eyes that looks like it's going to jump out at you. You just got to watch it. You have to. I totally recommend it.
I just looked it up. It says it's not rated.
Oh, I wouldn't rate it G. I mean, maybe it could be like rated PG-17. There's no blood, but there's a corpse in it, so I don't know how they rate that.
It follows a drifter suffering from partial memory loss who accepts a job to look after a psychologically disturbed woman in a house on a secluded island.
Okay.
Oh,
it's good. It's in there. Yeah. It's got it all. But other than that, and I have like 4 other movies that I'll be watching this week, so I'll give you an update on the next Crime Chat, on the next one. But other than that, that's all I've done.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I'm gonna get in while I'm here. But Chris is coming to visit, so yay.
Okay, good.
So I'm in Indianapolis. He's never been here before, and I've never been here before. I haven't really even had time, nor I haven't gone out and explored or anything just yet.
Right.
I'm catching up. I was a day behind the power curve. So I'm catching up.
All right. Well, before you get into your story today, you asked me to write up an intro about the makeup to crime ratio.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that. I think I hit what you wanted me to hit on. Because we did do, I don't know if you remember, we did do the ratio in a previous Crime and Cosmetics.
Well, it's hard to get, like, if we're doing the topic, Crime and Cosmetics, I mean, there's really only so much.
I know.
Without.
Although there's a lot.
As far as, like, background and, like, you know, there's a lot, but it's like, well, we kind of did this already. We kind of did that already.
Well, hopefully I pulled up some nuggets that you don't know.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I have no doubt.
Okay, so let's talk about beauty, but not about the products. No, I'm talking about the dark side of the makeup world. There's a dark side. We've had enough Crime and Cosmetics to know that there's a dark side.
If we can fill a whole season of Crime and Cosmetics,
oh boy,
there's plenty of good, juicy goss out there.
Yeah, but if we're going to commit to that, we have to commit to all glam looks.
Oh, yeah.
Every episode. We have enough makeup. We do.
I know.
Well, I heard it called the Stolen Lipstick Empire and the Counterfeit Highlighter Hustle. Isn't that cute? I saw those names. I'm like, oh, I like those names. Yeah. Stolen Lipstick Empire. I love it.
It sounds scandalous. They both sound scandalous.
It is very scandalous, and there's a good reason why. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's not just about the contouring anymore. It's contouring that led to some criminal shading, Kat. You like it? Dun, dun.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay.
Today, the global beauty industry is worth $677 billion.
Billion. Wow.
Billion with a B. Yeah. And it's expected to grow to about $785 billion in just a few years. And just in the U.S. alone, it's estimated to grow a whopping 1.5 million. We have, I mean, you have to admit that we do have some good serum. I mean, I would spend, I don't care how much, I need my my serum. If it tripled in price, I'd still buy it. I mean, that's why the beauty industry has so much money.
And that's what they bank on. They bank on those people who will spend whatever on, you know.
Yeah. You're brand loyal. When you have a brand that you like, that has treated you well, especially something as, you know, face forward as your face, like that, everybody sees your face. So Yeah, you kind of like get hooked on brands. But I wanted to add, just to kind of like tell you a little bit more about the money and where it goes and stuff like that. So here are the top 3 makeup companies and factories. The first one that I have here is Estee Lauder. The company's worth about $22 billion. Their headquarters is located in New York City. They were founded in 1946, and they own companies like MAC, Clinique, Bobbi Brown, La Mer, and more.
I did not realize that they owned MAC or Clinique. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, every single makeup company that is manufactured on an open market, like what you see in Walgreens and all these stores and Sephora, they're owned by only 4 companies. There's 4 like factories that make the formulas, and then all these brands come out of that. So, and even like, you know, like I read an article a long time ago about Kylie Cosmetics. So like there was a lawsuit with Kylie Cosmetics because the formula was very close to something else. I want to say Jeffree Star.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, the reason why the lawsuit didn't go forward is because these formulas, they're not owned by like the people that are, like for instance, Kylie cannot own that formula. She can lease it.
Yeah.
She can create something of her, you know, for her own, but that particular baseline formula is never, it's not hers. She will constantly pay that company to use that formula for her product. Yeah. So that's how they kind of get you.
Suckers.
Yeah. So the second one here is L'Oreal, and they're worth a whopping $230 billion. They're located in France, and they were founded in 1909. And they own brands like Lancôme, Maybelline, NYX, and Garnier. Now, the third one, and the beast, as you would say it, is Procter & Gamble. And they're worth a whopping $378 billion.
Wow.
And they're going to grow. Oh, yeah, they're growing.
Yeah.
They're located in Cincinnati, Ohio. They were founded in 1837, and the beauty division really rapidly grew and expanded in the 80s. Procter & Gamble does have like a broader consumer base where they make other products like Olay and Head & Shoulders and Pantene, so there's a lot more reason why they're the daddy of them all.
Yes, yeah. Well, and at one point owned our company today that we're going to talk about.
Oh, did they? Procter & Gamble?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to get into that part very much, but yes.
All right. But with all that cash flowing, criminals say, why rob a bank? Why can't you just rob Sephora? I mean, here are some actual cases. So the crime number 1, Michelle Mack. She was called the Queen of the Glam Scam.
Okay.
Between December 2021 and October 2023, Michelle Mack, a mother from Riverside County, California, ran what prosecutors called an elaborate and organized criminal enterprise.
Oh.
She wasn't just shoplifting. Oh, no. She built a $7.8 million beauty theft empire. Her crew targeted Ulta. They targeted Sephora stores in 21 California counties.
Wow.
They carefully selected the high-end locations and also high-end and really demanded products like fragrances, skincare, and other limited edition cosmetics. And they took those suckers and they ran out. And here's how it worked. Michelle recruited teams of women, young women, financially vulnerable. They hit multiple stores in a single day, stuff in their bags and, you know, in their pocketbooks. They loaded it up with goodies while cameras were rolling. Like, she didn't care because she just wanted the product. The girl stealing it, she can go to jail and whatever.
Sure.
Like, she was cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Then, after she got the items, she sold them through an Amazon storefront. So she was selling these products back to us. She got them for free. It was total markup.
Okay, really quick.
Yeah.
I know I say really quick all the time. It ends up being like way too much detail, but I did an investigation. It was one of my very first ones that I ever did, and it was the Base Exchange. The BX manager was stealing items in the BX, taking them home, and his wife was selling them on eBay.
See, you got to be careful.
And so it just reminded me about that. So he would get there at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and then go home early. But that's because he was saying I had, it was quiet time before the store opened and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And he ended up owing like over $400,000 in back taxes. Oh my God. He and his wife both got jail time. He was a civilian, but it happened on federal jurisdiction. So he was charged downtown in federal court. And the judge, because they had 2 young boys, the judge allowed them to have like one can serve their time, then the other one can serve their time. And this was like 20 years ago, but I just felt bad for the kids because we were there all day doing a search at his house. We worked with the postal inspector, and I'm not kidding you. No shit. Okay. We were there doing the search, and the lady comes and delivers the mail, and what does she have? 2 checks from an eBay purchase of 2 things that were sold that were the stolen goods of what he sold. So it was like, here you go, evidence right there for you. Wow. And thankfully we had a postal inspector with us because it was like it was mail fraud, wire fraud.
Yeah.
All of that was included.
Oh boy.
Theft. It was,
That's scary. Oh wow.
So you said that and it totally like triggered my memory on one of my very first investigations that I ever worked on.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking, too, for the boys, right? Yeah.
I just felt so bad for them because they were probably, at that time, they were probably my kid's age. And, and she had a legitimate eBay business. She would collect these Beanie Babies. She had so many tubs of Beanie Babies.
Oh, boy.
But it was all kind of like a front a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Xboxes, large screen TVs, like hundreds and hundreds, thousands of dollars just.
Wow. That's crazy. It's good to have a hustle, but make sure it's a legal hustle.
Yes.
Well, this lady, Michelle, she had spreadsheets. She was very organized. I mean, she was running this establishment like she was the CEO. I mean, she had inventory, all this stuff. For her, it wasn't petty theft. Like, this was a makeup mafia. Like, that's the way she ran it.
Yeah.
The bust came in 2023 after an investigation by the California Highway Patrol organized a retail crime task force. In January 2025, Mack was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months in prison in order to pay $3 million in restitution. She and her husband, Kenneth Mack, who also pled guilty, were forced to give up their $2.5 million mansion, plus cash, cars, the designer bags. Basically, the moral of the story, you can't build a mansion on blush, okay?
Or Beanie Babies.
Or Beanie Babies, no.
Because they had their home seized too.
Did they?
And their vehicles, yeah. He drove like a brand new BMW. She drove this like brand new SUV. And she wasn't working. She only had her eBay business. And his, $65,000, $70,000 annual income would not, like, it just doesn't line up with the new vehicles in the house. Oh, my gosh. I've never walked into a house and you can, like, the foyer goes up 3 stories. And it's just like,
it's crazy.
And then they had curtains that went all from the top, like, all the way down.
Love them.
Like a 40-foot curtain.
Love it. I want that.
But yeah. You can't build a mansion out of blush or Beanie Babies.
No, you can't.
No.
Mm-mm. Next crime, Christopher and Felice Guzman. We're going to call this duo Beauty and the Bribe. This husband-wife duo from Queens, New York, ran a next-level retail crime syndicate. Think less petty theft and more beauty cartel.
Oh.
According to the indictment that was unsealed in November 2024, the Guzmans orchestrated a series of coordinated thefts targeting stores like Macy's and Sephora's across the tri-state area. But the twist was that they didn't just send crews to grab the items from the shelves. Oh, no. They bribed truck drivers to steal entire shipments from the manufacturers, from the warehouses to drive. It's almost like a Hollywood movie. Like, I could see this car chase happening in my head with the truck, like, going down. But yeah, they stole entire containers.
Infiltrated the supply chain.
They did.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What they would do is that then they would take that entire shipment and then they would ship it over to the Dominican Republic where they sold them at their own storefront. Now, they use things like fake invoices and shell companies in order to launder the money back to the United States. They stole over $2 million in merchandise. They're the first people charged under New York's new law aimed at cracking down on organized theft and online sales of stolen goods. The law was passed in 2023 in response to the surge of the flash mob style retail crimes. And they're still awaiting trial right now, so we don't have an update. If convicted, each of them could face 25 years in prison. And I think this flash mob thing was like a child of the COVID years. You know, people would just go in right before like people started locking stuff up.
Yeah.
You would have people just go in and just like scatter, grab, and run. Like California got hit hard with that stuff. Well, New York too, but once again, their entire criminal empire was built on mascara and manipulation. Not a good business model. Come on, people.
I love your puns.
Do you? Okay,
Yes.
good. I was trying. I was like trying to figure out because it's so easy with makeup. It's fun, you know. Okay, crime number 3: the counterfeit queen of Joyzy.
Joyzy.
In February 2025, a woman from Hudson County, New Jersey, was sentenced to a federal court for selling counterfeit cosmetics. And not just a few. Her scheme involved large-scale production and online distribution of fake branded products. Names like MAC, Kylie Cosmetics, and Fenty were all ripped off. The products looked like the real thing, but were made in unsanitary conditions. Like she was making the lipstick in her tub.
Oh.
Okay? With unknown and sometimes toxic ingredients.
Yeah, like...
It's gross.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The feds got involved after a customer reported skin rashes. well, many customers. Not a customer, but many customers. Skin rashes, chemical burns, and that the lip product smelled like paint thinner.
Oh, my God.
Crazy. That's crazy. You use paint thinner to take off your makeup, not to put them on. I'm joking.
Oh, my gosh.
So she sold the fakes on websites and social media and through like pop-up beauty shops, you know, like the TikTok pop-up thing you see on Facebook. It'll pop up and you're like, why am I seeing this?
Yes.
You know? The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, described the operation as a threat to public health and intellectual property. Yes and yes. She was sentenced to 18 months in prison, fined, and permanently banned from any future cosmetic business. The court also ordered the destruction of thousands of fake products that were found in her storage unit. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So if the deal's too good to be true, like that Kylie lipstick that might be coming from Karen's basement, it usually is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That Foley.
Organized retail crime isn't petty anymore. It's professional. We're not talking about any random shoplifter like Kat slipping a mascara into her purse when she was a kid.
Statute of limitations is over. It's fine.
That's right. You're good. You're safe. No, this is a coordinated theft with spreadsheets and resale accounts and Amazon and eBay accounts. These crime rings know exactly what to steal: luxury lipsticks, cult favorite serums, top-tier fragrances, stuff that is small enough to steal, but pricey enough that it will sell online and it will sell fast. And the kicker? They flip this stolen or fake stuff online with zero background checks. So if the price looks too good to be true, it usually is. Yeah. And it's usually because, you know, with all those 2-day shippings, I mean, that's usually that's all it's costing them. And that's scary, you know, like that you can sell something on Amazon and on eBay and you can open a TikTok account and you can do all this and there are no background checks.
I know.
You just need to have like some type of maybe security, social security number, a TIN number, or if you're like one of those home businesses, you can just like fill out like one of those forms that it's like a doing business as.
Yes.
And you can start your own business. And there's a famous one. It's not makeup related, but the pink sauce lady.
The pink sauce.
The pink sauce lady. It's a whole scam. So she was making pink sauce. It was buffalo wing dipping sauce.
It was pink?
It was pink. Okay, it was gross to look at, but apparently
it's like dipping your chicken wings in Pepto-Bismol.
That's exactly what it looked like Pepto. But people swore by it. They were like, oh, it's delicious. So she was selling, but she was one person making the stuff in her house and she could not meet the demand. So, and also like she was stockpiling her inventory. She was making like maybe 100 bottles and then like she wasn't like clearing the shelves out. And she had no like expiration date on them. So when they would arrive to the people's house, they would be moldy and gross and fungus. And it was gross. And she's broke now, but like Walmart picked up her product. Like you can find pink sauce in Walmart. They're trying to get rid of it. They're selling it. I think the last time I was going to
say, is it still on the shelves?
It was till like a month ago. So because there's a TikTok story about this whole thing. Like Walmart started selling it for like $8, and now they're selling it for like 20 cents because they just want to clear get it out. They just need to destroy it if it's not good, valuable stuff. It can poison somebody.
Or if it's got mold.
Yeah. So here are some stats behind the scandals. According to Smart Protection, which is a magazine, counterfeit cosmetics are 10% of the global cosmetic sales. That's billions of dollars in lost revenue and tons of shady products that are dumped into...
Shady.
Yeah. Shady. There's that word again.
Shady.
Now, 1 in 3 U.S. customers have unknowingly bought fake products online.
Sure.
Most of it happens online through a third-party seller. Yeah. Through a third-party seller or pop-up shops like we see on TikTok.
Third-party seller. Sorry.
Another one, the ASIS International, which is another magazine, another study. They found that 125 billion of annual losses were tied to organized retail theft in the U.S. A big chunk of that comes from the beauty and personal care items. So it's not just beauty products, it's everything. It's everything Procter & Gamble sells, basically.
Yeah.
Bottom line, the beauty business is booming, and so is the crime scene around it. As long as people are willing to pay $50 for foundation, someone's going to be able to try to steal that, fake it, and sell it to you for $15. So next time you're tempted to buy something that's a little too cheap, like that cute little lipstick that's $1, pause and ask yourself, is it a deal or is it a felony in a tube? And that is my intro.
Well, it makes me wonder, like the Dollar Tree, right? Where everything used to be $1, but it's not.
$1.25.
Everything's, now it's a little. Yeah. But can you really get something like that? I know we got a mutual friend who loves to buy the eyelashes from Dollar Tree. And it's like, I get it. Like you get your money's worth, you wear them once and you're done. But I don't know.
The Dollar Tree does have its own makeup line. Oh, no. Dollar General has its own makeup line. I want to say it's called like Benefit or Believe or something like that. So I guess they have more of a control with the ingredients, but they're using bottom stuff to make that stuff, or they're mass producing it in countries that produce it with child labor or something. It's just too cheap. It's too cheap. So like, I don't know. I guess it's good to research the brand that you like. All that vegan stuff is important,
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the most important thing, but.
Well, we did. Lime Crime claimed that they were vegan and all that. We did that episode on Lime Crime, and they weren't.
No.
They just put that line out there for that Lime Crime. But thank you. Yeah. No, it's perfect. It's great. We're going to get a little bit more of the other side of...
The bloody side?
Well, that's not so bloody.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I will tell you my crime chat link later.
Okay.
Okay, after you tell us who you're doing this on, because we don't know.
The story. Yes. So today's Crime and Cosmetics is a horrible and somewhat graphic story about abusive sexual assaults. Oh. Now, we just need to throw an extra disclaimer out there for those of you who may not be able to handle it. Come back next week. You feel free to skip ahead. Come back next week.
For our next disturbing story.
Right. But this is it. It's a touchy subject,
it is.
For some people. Yeah. So we just want to let you know kind of ahead of time, give you a double disclaimer. So in July of 2000, a Max Factor cosmetic company trust fund heir, Andrew Lester, 36 at the time, was arrested for raping a 21-year-old college student. Initially denying the allegations, a subsequent investigation revealed that Lester not only raped at least 3 women, he drugged them and video recorded his assaults. During his trial, that started in December of 2002, Lester was released on a $1 million bail where he fled California. The trial continued in his absence, but he was convicted of 86 felony counts. I've seen some that said 88 or to 89. We'll just say high 80s.
You're just going to stop counting at 50. Like, just stop counting.
Right. But he was sentenced to 124 years in prison.
Wow.
He was placed on the FBI's most wanted list. And in June of 2003, Lester was tracked down in Mexico by no one other than Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dwayne Chapman, wherein Lester was handed over to American authorities. Now, this millionaire trust fund baby thought he was untouchable. He thought he could hide behind his family's wealth and name, but he was wrong. So we're going to get into it. Did you want to do your story now? Or you want to do it later?
Oh, so my little nugget here, my little crime chat link is, and this was in the 90s. I was at a club called the Limelight, which is a really famous, huge club. The club was, now that I think about it, it was really messed up. So like what they did is the club owners bought this abandoned church, this beautiful, beautiful cathedral looking church with it was just, the gables and all that stuff, stained glass.
Yeah.
They painted on the outside, they painted the entire building black.
Oh.
Everything was black. Like there were all the windows were painted, the moldings were painted.
Yeah.
Everything, like it looked like it was a weird black spot in the city.
Yeah.
But you walk in and there were like, every level had a different theme. Like one level had like the soap theme where like suds would fly out of the ceiling.
Oh.
The next level would be like reggae. Next level would be like, like rave dance. Like it's just different music and stuff.
Okay. Yes.
You've heard of it?
I've heard of it. Yes. Yep.
There's a lot of crime with that too. The owners of that went to jail because they were harboring some criminals. But I went there with a couple of my friends, and I remember we went the floor that we were on. I don't remember which one it was, but there was like VIP seating. But anybody can go to the VIP seating. If you were a girl, you can go anywhere. And we were walking around, and I remember Andrew was sitting in the VIP section, and I remember we were kind of like pulled to the side by some guy, and they were like, "Hey, ladies, you want a drink?" And we were young and stupid, and we were just like, well, first of all, we had drinks in our hand already, but you could tell he was trying to speak to us, and we were just talking to him, and he pointed to him. He's like, "Oh, you know who that guy is?" He's like, "That's Andrew Lester." We had no idea who that was.
No,
we had no idea, and then we had to be told, "Oh yeah, he owns, or his daddy owns Max Factor or something." But like, I didn't speak to him, but I still remember seeing him, and he was just talking with his buddies sitting in the VIP section. So yeah.
Oh my God.
That's my little link.
That makes me sick to my stomach because we're going to talk about how he lured people in.
Are you saying I could have been a victim?
Yes.
Oh, girl. Okay, you just gave me chills.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay. Oh,
I'm
God.
serious.
You gave me chills. I know you're being serious, and I think okay. But I didn't make that correlation till just now.
Of course. I mean, and at the time, you would have been like, "Oh, this person's rich, not really famous, but like, he's somebody. He's got a name." Okay, we'll get into some of his methods. So, all right, Andrew Stewart Lester. He was born December 15th, 1963 to Henry Lester and Elizabeth Shore Lester. Henry was a psychiatrist, and Elizabeth was the adopted granddaughter of Max Factor Sr., the founder of Max Factor Cosmetics Company. Andrew Lester was only 9 when his father Henry died. That left his mother to raise him and his sister Amy by herself, but she did end up opening a Napa Valley Health and Fitness Retreat in 1986. So she's kind of made way with what she had. In 1981, Lester graduated from the elite private Windward School in Los Angeles, a suburb of Mar Vista, with a B average. You've heard of Wynwood.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. One Wynwood classmate, who is now Los Angeles attorney Mark Poland, remembers Lester as a nice and friendly guy. quote, "He was one of the people there who never offended anybody," end quote. As an expert skier and surfer, Lester, at the age of 18, moved into a 2-bedroom Ventura Beach cottage that his mother, Elizabeth, bought for him, decorating it with photos of himself surfing and of various women. He lived off of a trust fund that, according to differing views of his complicated finances, gave him access to anywhere between a couple of $1 million, from what his lawyer estimated, to more than $40 million, which is what police speculated. Another longtime friend recalled, quote, "He downplayed the money, except when it came time to track and pick up women. He never bragged or talked about the Max Factor connection," end quote. Now, just a little bit about Max Factor, if you don't know, you're about to know. It was founded in 1909 as Max Factor and Company. Its products have been used on Hollywood's leading film stars and known for creating glamorous but realistic looks. Its founder, Max Factor Sr., was born Maximilian Faktorowicz in Congress, Poland, on September 15th, 1877. At the age of 9, he was apprenticed to a wig maker and cosmetician in Lodz, which is central Poland. That experience actually enabled him to gain a position at Anton's of Berlin, which was a leading hairstylist and cosmetics creator. By the age of 14, he was working at Corpo, a Moscow wig maker and cosmetician to the Imperial Russian Grand Opera.
Wow.
Yeah, Russia. Well, he was born in Poland. Today is Poland.
Okay.
Technically, at the time, it was Russia, but today it's known as Poland. In Russia, because that's where he was around at Moscow at the time, you had to serve in the military. It's mandatory military service. So from 18 to 22, he did this, and he served in the hospital corps. He became well known when a traveling theatrical troupe wore Factor's cosmetics to perform for Russian nobility. So he was doing the hospital corps military service kind of simultaneously while still doing this like cosmetics and wigs and everything like that.
Right.
Now, the Russian nobility appointed Max Factor to the official cosmetics expert in the Imperial Russian Grand Opera, an honor which led him to be closely monitored. At the time, he also married Esther Rosa, whom he called Lizzie. By early 1904, they had produced 3 children, Frida, Cecilia, and Davis. Concerned about the increasing anti-Jewish, he was Polish-Jewish.
Okay.
Wait, Jewish-Polish, yeah. With the anti-Jewish persecution developing in the Russian Empire at the time, Max and Lizzie decided to follow his brother Nathan and his uncle Fischl to America. They traveled in the steerage class aboard the SS Moltke III and were processed at Ellis Island on February 25th, 1904. He had $400 in his pocket at the time.
Wow.
They initially settled in St. Louis, Missouri. He sold rouges and creams at the 1904 World's Fair, operating under the newly respelled name Max Factor. So he didn't really change his name until then. Right. It was Maximilius Faktorowicz. Yeah. Max Factor. His partner in the venture stole all of his stock and the profits, but with the assistance of his brother and his uncle, Max Factor recovered and opened a barbershop. In August of 1904, Max and his wife had their 4th child, Frank Factor. However, on March 17th of 1906, his wife collapsed and died from a brain hemorrhage.
Aww.
Anxious to provide a mother for his 4 children, he married Huma Helen Stretkowska on August 15th, 1906. Despite the birth of Louis on August 29, 1907, the marriage was very short-lived and ended in a prolonged court battle, but Factor did end up obtaining custody of all of his children. Then on January 21st, 1908, Factor married Jenny Cook, who was a neighbor, and was married to her until he died. Now, seeing an opportunity to provide made-to-order wigs and theatrical makeup to the growing film industry, Factor moved his family and his business to Los Angeles. Initially, he established a shop on the South Central Avenue and advertised the business as Max Factor's Antiseptic Hair Store. Word of Max Factor's expertise quickly spread, and he soon was working with Hollywood's leading film stars and making his own cosmetic products for a glamorous but realistic look on screen. Factor became a United States citizen in 1912. In 1916, he started selling eyeshadows and eyebrow pencils. This was the first time that such products were available outside of the movie industry.
Oh, okay.
Besides selling his own makeup products, he soon became the West Coast distributor of two leading theatrical makeup manufacturers as well. In the early years of his business, Factor personally applied his products to actors and actresses and developed a reputation for being able to customize makeup and present actors and actresses like in their best possible light based on the lighting of the screen and everything that's kind of on the set. And among some of his notable clients were Jean Harlow, Bette Davis, Norma Shearer, Joan Crawford, Lucille Ball, and Judy Garland.
Wow.
As a result, virtually all of the major movie actresses were regular customers of Max Factor Beauty Salon, located near Hollywood Boulevard. Max Factor's name appeared on many movie credits as well, and he himself appeared in some of the cameos on some movies.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
In 1920, he launched a full range of cosmetics, calling it makeup, a phrase that he coined.
Are you kidding?
Which
I didn't know that. So cool.
I didn't know that either.
Okay.
He coined the term makeup. And this was actually recommended by his son, Frank. I'm not going to really mention this too much, but Frank changed his name to Max Factor Jr. once his dad died, and he was then taken over the business. So Frank is Max Jr.
Okay.
But, okay, so 1920, he coined the phrase makeup, encouraged by his son, Frank. But until then, the term cosmetics had been used because makeup was considered to be only used by people in theater or of like a dubious reputation, not something to be used in polite society.
Right.
Cosmetics was the term. In 1938, Factor was traveling in Europe on business with his son Davis when, during a stopover in Paris, he received a note demanding money in exchange for his life. An attempt was made by the police using a decoy to capture the extortionist, but no one turned up at the agreed drop-off point to collect the money. Factor was so shaken by the threat that he returned to the United States at the behest of a local doctor, where upon arrival he took to his bed.
Wow.
Factor died on August 30th, 1938 at the age of 60 in Beverly Hills, and he had 6 children in total between the 3 wives. The makeup products and techniques Max Factor created for the movie industry and his Hollywood clients earned him an Oscar.
Wow.
But his guiding philosophy was that any woman could be glamorous given the right tools and makeup artistry skills.
True.
From mascara to foundation, eyeshadow to lip gloss, Max Factor put the transformative tools for the makeup artistry into the hands of every woman, enabling her to create her own persona glamour statement every day.
Very cool.
Now, quick side note. I saw Max Factor's half-brother, John, was a Prohibition-era gangster and con artist affiliated with the Chicago outfit.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's just a side note. Nothing to do with the story. Put a nugget in that for later. So where does Andrew Lester fit in all of this? Okay, Max Factor, his oldest child, Frida, she was married. I could not find who she was married to, what his name was, but she took the last name Shore, so she became Frida Shore. She was Frida Factor, got married, became Frida Shore. Frida and her unknown husband adopted Elizabeth Shore. That's Andrew Lester's mother.
Okay, so Frida is his grandmother?
Yes.
Okay.
Frida is his grandmother, who is the oldest child of Max Factor.
Okay.
Yes. So making Andrew Lester an heir to this makeup icon.
Yeah. Wow.
Family, money. Now, Lester certainly had no worries about how he was going to make ends meet. He was also smart with his money. As it came in, he invested it. He started a surfboard company and was involved with producing several B-rated movies. He would also go on month-long fishing, surfing trips to places like Mexico, Costa Rica. While all that was fun, women are what he cared about most. One of these trips, he met a woman who eventually did become the mother of 2 of his children. a boy and a girl who were 8. The boy was 8 and the girl was 5 at the time of Lester's arrest.
Okay.
Until then, he was, for all intents and purposes, a good dad, would go and visit, see his children regularly. The mother lived in Malibu at the time, and he would take his son and like try to teach his son surfing and all that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say pretty good dad at the time, right? Now, one night, he met 17-year-old Tanya in a bar in Santa Barbara, California. Tanya remembers returning with Lester to his nearby cottage. After that, she reclaims nothing, saying, quote, "I didn't know I passed out. All I remember is that I was feeling different, and then I woke up the next day in his bed. I was upset, and I asked him what was going on, and he said, 'Don't you remember?' And then he said nothing happened." End quote. Now, Tanya actually she believed him, and she lived with Lester for 4 months. He had told her, "You passed out, you got tired, I let you sleep in my bed, and I slept on the couch."
That's so
That's what he
bullshit
originally
to
told her,
me.
and she believed him.
Well, first of all, as a woman, you would know if somebody had sex with you immediately. I mean, there is physical contact, and you would know if somebody did that. Fluids, pain, maybe a little discomfort. I don't know. Like, it just seems...
And part of that, too, is she didn't go to his house by herself. Her sister was with her.
Oh.
But apparently nothing happened to the sister. At least that's what I saw.
Yeah.
There are 3 victims. Not all of the victims are named.
Oh.
I think I would have seen it, like if
Yeah.
if she was one of them, because I watched documentaries. I watched we're going to talk about it, the movie that was made about him. Like,
Okay.
but her sister did go. In the one documentary I watched, she said that her sister did go to the house with him. He was like, "Oh yeah, we hung out. You know, we just kind of had a good time." And from what Tanya was saying, is he showed a lot of interest in her. Where do you want to go to school? What do you want to do with your life? And you know, kind of those kind of things where she felt he was just building trust with her.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Now, she might have never known what actually happened to her if it were not for another woman who ran into Andrew Lester one night in July of 2000, and for the videotape that they later discovered of Tanya. The second woman, 21, and a male companion, met Andrew Lester at a Santa Barbara bar, and from what they could tell, both of them were drugged. One of the sheriff's deputies said, quote, "They kind of recall getting into his car and being driven to his home," end quote. And then the following Monday, July 17, 2000, the woman had called police and told them that she felt like she had been drugged and raped. A lot of this, I watched the movie, a lot of this did come out, of course it's dramatized, but a lot of it did come out where you could see this woman and her friend debating whether or not to report it. They were both drugged.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
In the movie, it shows the two of them, they were friends, having sex in the back of Andrew Lester's car. But I don't know if that actually happened. I wasn't able to find like anything like that. So how it kind of was perceived is the male friend was worried also about being held responsible, even though he also was drugged.
Right.
Because of the actions that happened in the back of the car. Like Andrew could hold that against him or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of, you know, kind of hesitation, but she's like, "No, we have to report this.
Yes.
Like, I have to say what happened."
Yeah.
So the next day, police arrested Andrew Lester in his home, seizing videotapes and photographs of his sexual encounters. They also found several vials of a clear liquid. This was later confirmed to be GHB, gamma hydroxybutyric acid, which is a natural occurring neurotransmitter and a depressant drug. GHB has been used in a medical setting as a general anesthetic and is a treatment for cataplexy, narcolepsy, and alcoholism. The substance is also illicitly used for various reasons, including performance-enhancing drugs, recreational drugs, and the date rape drug.
Giving me chills.
Yeah. This could have been you.
I was just thinking, so when you mentioned Tanya's story in November 1996, I think you said, I think I met him in 1996 too, but it wasn't November. It was earlier in the year because in that year my friends, we went to Amsterdam in November. So I remember this happened before that.
Then.
And it wasn't in the winter. Like I didn't have a coat on. I remember but it was 1996 because I remember it was like, it was right before we did a big travel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that's why maybe his friend offered me a drink or us offered a drink.
Yes.
Oh, you're freaking me out.
Yes. And he did have a friend with him that night as well. The night the 21-year-old that had happened. Now, after hearing news of her son's arrest, Elizabeth Lester said, quote, "He's never been in trouble and he's never hurt anyone," end quote. Likewise, Lester's attorney, James Blatt, felt that the public may have a different perspective on this case. Like, he's really a good guy. Like, this is just a he said, she said. And Blatt said, quote, "Mr. Lester is a law-abiding citizen, not a predator. And what this case really involves is the very fundamental right to privacy in the bedroom and intimacy with one's partner," end quote.
What? So he's saying they have no right to check those videotapes or whatever, that they have no right to it because it was in his bedroom?
So part of and I don't really get into it too much detail, so I'll mention it. Part of it, his reasoning is saying that it was consensual.
Okay.
That they knew they were making a porn video with him.
Oh, wow.
That's part of his argument, his lawyer's argument. Yeah.
That's creepy as hell.
Right? But the videos that were seized from his home were also played in trial.
Oh, boy.
One, Mr. Lester says to the camera, quote, "That's exactly what I like in my room, a passed out beautiful girl," end quote.
My God.
And another videotape played, it actually had like a text overlay on it, and it said, quote, "Passed out on my bed and basically there for me to do whatever I choose," end quote.
God, that's terrifying.
It is. The 3 known victims who had come forward at this point were also present in court. One that we know is Tanya, but the others I mentioned weren't really known, and they were called Does, like Jane Doe, or Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 3. And Tanya at the time also didn't have her name out there. She's just come forward since then.
Yeah.
Now, surprisingly, the judge allowed Lester to post a $1 million bail, which his mom paid, and was ordered on house arrest. Possibly over the holidays because his trial started like in late December, and then we kind of pick up back in January. So I'm thinking maybe court recessed for the holidays or something. Now, when Lester failed to appear in court in January 2003, the trial continued anyway. He was convicted in absentia and sentenced to 124 years in prison. I'll get to it, but this was later reduced to 50 years. Lester fled California, and it wasn't long before the FBI had him at the top of their most wanted list. He was also on America's Most Wanted, by the way.
Was he?
Yep. Lester was tracked down by no other than Dog the Bounty Hunter himself, Dwayne Chapman, in June of 2003. Yes, now, Dog, I'm just going to call him Dog because it's fun. Now, Dog claimed that one of Lester's attorneys surreptitiously told him where Lester was hiding. Well, at one point he said to me, "I'm going to tell you something, Dog. Don't be dumb. The guy, Lester, speaks Spanish. Do you get it?" End quote.
Wow. Okay.
Supposedly. Apparently. Lester also said later that the same attorney who had passed away about 10 years after was also telling him to run. Go to Mexico. That's what Lester was saying.
Oh, who believes him? He's an asshole.
Having a dial-in to Lester's whereabouts in Mexico or Thailand were the leads that were kind of coming into Dog. After he talked to the lawyer, he's like, okay, all of my focus is going to Mexico. After developing some informants in Mexico, Dog found him in Puerto Vallarta, armed with 2 cameras, mace, handcuffs. A scuffle ensued, but Dog was able to subdue Lester. They placed him in his vehicle and started to head back to California.
Wow.
Now, one bystander was quoted in a newspaper article saying, "I didn't know if it was a kidnapping or a movie."
With Dog, I mean, look at him.
Dog.
He looks like he is filming a movie at all times.
Yes.
Something epic.
We're going to kind of get to that a little bit, too, about this specific takedown.
Okay.
Now, local taxi drivers actually contacted Mexican authorities, and Dog and his crew were intercepted about 2.5 miles away. Andrew Lester, Dog, and 2 others were arrested. Lester, who was originally gave Mexican authorities a fake name, knowing he was wanted in the U.S.
Yeah.
He did eventually give him his name, and he was turned over to a Mexican-based FBI agent who arranged his transportation and everything to get extradited back to the U.S. Dog, his son, and another crew member all faced kidnapping charges, and because they illegally entered Mexico.
Oh.
Now, even though they did have an arrest warrant for Lester, the kidnapping charge eventually also was reduced to a misdemeanor, and then they were all three released on bail. Following their attorney's advice, they fled the jurisdiction, thereby becoming international bail jumpers. On September 14th, 2006, days before the expiration of the statute of limitations, they were arrested by United States Marshals and jailed in Honolulu on behalf of the Mexican government. Now, they lived in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. Now, okay, since they didn't necessarily obtain permission to leave the country while they were out on bail in 2003, the Mexican government declared them as fugitives from justice and tried to get them extradited back to Mexico for sentencing. Although the judge did agree that the men were not a significant flight risk, he ordered that each wear an electronic monitoring device around the ankle, and the three men were released on bail September 15, 2006.
Okay.
Now, Dog has speculated his arrest was due in part to a possible prisoner exchange agreement between the Mexican and American authorities. On February 16, 2007, a Mexican federal court ruled that there was no reason not to try Dog for the charge of the deprivation of liberty in Mexico, the kidnapping charge. And then in August of 2007, the first criminal court in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, dismissed all the criminal charges pending against the three men because the statute of limitations had expired. And then the order was effectively canceled on all pending charges. Do you remember seeing this?
No.
You don't? Okay, so I used to watch Dog all the time.
I didn't watch the video that he took that day, and I didn't know that he got in trouble for it. I thought that he literally took Andrew to the state. I didn't realize that all happens. No.
Yeah. I remember him being arrested in Hawaii. I didn't realize it was for this case, but I do remember him. It was him, his son, and then one of the other crew members, whose last name is also Chapman, but apparently they're not related. I do remember when the three of them were arrested and there was this big whole thing and I remember seeing something because I think it was part of his TV show too where he's showing his ankle bracelet. I used to watch Dog all the time, so Dog. Now, even though Dog felt that his actions were legal and that he also worked with another Mexican police officer, obviously not the ones that arrested him, but he did have several informants and he was working with a local police officer, the judge in Lester's case refused to grant any reward or bond for Lester's return.
That's messed up.
I know.
And they have to shell out $1 million. They have to shell out the bonds. Whatever that bonds was, what was you said $1 million?
No, his mom paid the $1 million bail to get him out.
But isn't that what? So when these people go out, these dog hunt, when he goes out and catches somebody and brings them back,
it's usually for a reward. It was a $10,000 reward for his return.
Oh,
for Andrew Lester. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. But if the bounty hunter actually then goes and retrieves them, they get reimbursed, I guess, the bond or whatever expenses and whatever reward is on top of that. Not 100% sure how it works, but I think it's kind of like that. Dog also said that during his pursuit of Lester, he consulted with a forensic expert who specialized in sex crimes. And they believed Lester's preference for raping unconscious, passive victims indicated a necrophilia-type tendency that might lead to murder.
I can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about too many of those, related cases, yeah. And okay, so in the movie also, they didn't really show... Obviously, the videotapes were kind of, reproduced for the movie, and they did show in the movie some videotapes and stuff. But even then, oh my God, there was this one scene that the actor picked up the passed out, quote unquote, passed out girl hand and was just and put her limp hand on his head and was rubbing all over him. Oh my God. And they got it pretty graphic actually in the movie too. In the court, I would have been uncomfortable sitting in the room because they were showing everything and in front of the jury and everything. And they're
oh my God.
And the lawyer was saying, like, as you can see, he's digitally penetrating her now. And as you can see, he's manipulating her labia. And as you can see, and blah, 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 blah. Like,
oh my God. That's
uncomfortable.
Really wild.
Yes.
And also, like, you know what that is, like, making me think of? The Diddy trial. Like, what the hell? Are they going to do that in this, too? Because they have a lot of videos.
Because they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt anything and everything that would solidify physical and circumstantial evidence. Like, you have to. Unless it gets thrown out for whatever reason. But the dramatic capture of Andrew Lester was captured on film for a Dog the Bounty Hunter television show. Now, this gripping episode showcased the intensity and high-stakes nature of the pursuit, captivating the audiences worldwide. And I saw this episode not realizing who it was at the time because it was years ago.
But he got paid. He got his payday, so that's good.
He got paid because of the television. He didn't get the reward,
No, but he got paid more than that court could ever give.
Sure. And with the publicity, I mean, my gosh.
He was made for Hollywood, that man.
Yeah. Now, California Court of Appeal refused Lester's appeal, citing that he had been a fugitive. So, no, you're a fugitive. You don't get an appeal. I don't think so. Which, I personally agree with, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. But longstanding precedent holds that fugitives flout the court's authority and thus forfeit their rights to appeal.
Wow.
The California Supreme Court and the United States Supreme Court later refused the overturning of this ruling. So they kind of stuck to their guns. Yep. Yeah. While in Mexico, Lester compiled what he called a payback list with names of Ventura County prosecutors, sheriff's deputies, his victims, one of his attorneys, who might have been the one that talked to Dog, according to his statements that were made by one of the judges.
Wow. Yeah. He needs to be put away. He needs a timeout, that boy.
We'll get to it. So in late 2009, Lester filed for a petition for habeas corpus as the final possibility of having his case reviewed by another court on appeal, which was granted 3 years later, April 2012. And then a year after that, April 16, 2013, Ventura County Superior Court Judge Catherine Stoltz reduced his sentence to 50 years, 48 years for the rapes, and 2 for the drug-related charges. Then came California Proposition 57. This allowed for parole consideration for nonviolent offenders, changes in policy on juvenile prosecution, and authorized sentence credits for rehabilitation, good behavior, and education. Opponents of this proposition argued that it would release potentially dangerous criminals due to the improper classifications of crimes as nonviolent, which included domestic violence and child molestation.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How is rape and child molestation non-violent category? Like how?
Well,
that is the most violent thing when you hurt a child. Like what? Crazy.
Well, I'll get to a second, but Proposition 57 was approved by voters in November 2016 general election, 64.46% voting in favor of this change. Now in California, the general rule is that a defendant convicted of a nonviolent felony must serve 50% of their sentence. Lester's crime was the rape of an unconscious person, thereby qualifying him as a nonviolent offense because they weren't fighting back, but they weren't physically able to, which pisses me off.
That's horrible. That's a horrible interpretation of how to fit him in this law.
I know.
That is terrible. Yeah. And if at that point, this is 2016, you're just telling me that they didn't take rape seriously enough yet. But they are now, but like they still silenced women with this law.
I know.
It's just crazy. Oh.
Now, due to this, Lester faced early release. In October of 2024, his early release was denied after a 2-person parole panel actually had granted him parole. Senior Ventura County Deputy District Attorney Anthony Wold said, quote, "As a serial rapist who continues to deny responsibilities for his crimes, Andrew Lester continues to present a threat to public safety," end quote. Amen. And Wold prosecuted Lester and took part in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Parole Board's hearings. He said, quote, "We strongly believe he should serve his full sentence. His crimes were particularly dangerous, and he has yet to display any regret or remorse for his actions. He remains a dangerous sex predator," end quote.
Yeah.
The panel agreed with the prosecutor's arguments and denied his parole request. Ventura County DA Eric Go noted in a statement that even with the denial in October, Lester will be released. I think that was October of 2022, that Lester will be released from prison in about 4 years.
Wow.
April 29th of this year. A panel of California Board of Parole hearings again rejected his request for an early release. This will likely be his last such hearings. Lester, who is now 61, is scheduled to be released no later than October 31st, 2026, due to the provisions in the state law that have since been changed for crimes like his, that nonviolent provision 57 bullshit.
Yeah.
So, media portrayals, of this story. After Lester fled the United States, there was a movie based on his crimes. It's called A Date with Darkness, The Trial and Capture of Andrew Lester. That's the movie that I watched. You probably would recognize the guy who plays Andrew Lester. I know he's been on several things, and I would say, I think this movie came out in early 2000s. It was after his return, so maybe 2004 or 5, something like that. Maybe 6, something like that.
Okay.
You would recognize a face, and maybe the character that plays the 21-year-old college student who was the one that actually initially reported him. I recognize the two of them as actors, but nothing, like, I don't know their names.
Okay.
Anyway, it was produced with the intention of aiding in his capture at the time by ending with a photo of him and a request for help to find his whereabouts. But the film was in production when Lester actually was captured, and the ending was rewritten, which incorporated his capture. And they had like a picture and said, captured by Dog the Bounty Hunter, blah, 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 like at the very end. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
August 28, 2009, the true crime TV series Dominic Dunn's Power, Privilege, and Justice
I used to watch that.
aired an episode on the case in season 3, episode 4, called Evil Deeds. August 31st, 2017, Investigation Discovery aired the first episode of Guilty Rich, which recounted Andrew Lester's crimes, arrest, flight, and ultimate conviction and incarceration. The case was also profiled on the 6th episode of the 15th season of Evil Lives Here. That's the one that I watched where it has Tanya telling her side of the story and everything that happened. Lester's crimes and subsequent trial were featured on a true crime story written by James Patterson and Max Dilialo, titled Murder of Innocence, published by Grand Central Publishing in 2020. And it's not on here, but it was also on America's Most Wanted, when he was wanted, of course.
Okay.
So that would have been early 2003.
Okay.
Andrew Lester's descent from being the great-grandson of Max Factor to a convicted criminal on the run illustrates how even those born into privilege and fame can find themselves caught in a web of their own making. It serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of choices and the consequences they can have over one's life. And that is your Downfall Veneer, Crime and Cosmetics. Andrew Lester.
Make better choices.
Make better choices. Yes, people. Money
Oh
and
my God.
power does not protect you.
That is a creepy case. And you creeped me out already because now that I'm thinking, it's funny, when I told you my little link, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't know all the information you were about to tell me.
Yep. So you would meet these women. He drugged these women. There was also another allegation that, because he did go to Mexico quite often, and that's where his baby's mama was from, that there was another assault in Mexico that the DA was actually looking at. But of course, I don't think that actually ever happened. But it was like high 80 felony charges. And that means to me, that's probably more than 3 victims.
Yeah.
Well, I think only 3 the victims actually came forward. But of course, you'd have to have the evidence in court to convict him of all of those charges too. So I'm not exactly sure kind of how that all lined up.
That's crazy. And I really feel bad for his victims because
oh my gosh, yes.
It was so evident that even the court system did not take their pain in full light of their pain into consideration of how he damaged their just worldview.
In the movie, of course, dramatized, all 3 of the victims are saying how afraid they are of him. But in the documentary where Tanya was in it, she is like, if he gets out, she's like, I'm terrified.
Aww.
Because, that was the other thing. She said when she moved out of his house, there was some kind of falling out or whatever. She kind of realized this guy's kind of creepy, like, I don't want to live here anymore. Went and lived with his friend. I want to say his name was like Joe or something. they kind of hooked up, were becoming boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. And Andrew would stalk her at his house.
At the friend's house.
Yes. And she would look out the window and like see like a picture, like see a silhouette out the window of somebody like staring in.
Oh my God.
And he would come to the house and be like, I love you. I want you back. She was 17, of course, at the time. Remember? So, like, I want you back. I want you, like, you're everything to me. She love letters and everything like that. Like, trying to just, like, lure her back in. And
love bombing. He was love bombing her.
Yes.
To manipulate her.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And she was reading one of the letters on the documentary about, was verbatim, like, what he was saying and everything, and creeped her out. So she's like, I am terrified.
Yeah.
She knows that he's going to get released. They were expecting him to die in jail, 124 years.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, he does have to register as a sex offender still.
And I'm sure the media frenzy about his case even put the judges in the hot seat in the court system to have some retribution for these victims. But think of all the victims that didn't have that power play in the media for them to get the resolve with court saying, like, you know, these aren't major things.
Well, and
you know,
during the investigation, they were asking people to come forward if you know somebody who's been involved and blah blah blah, which is how Tanya was like, oh my God. Yes, and called police right away and said, yes, I am one of them. But there were so many other videos of unidentified women.
Oh my God.
And
oh my Lord.
I remember Tanya when she said that she was watching her video that he made of him having sex with her while she was passed out.
Oh, baby girl. No.
And like having to watch that and watch yourself get abused and not being able to do anything about it. And the video that she said, the clothing that she was wearing, she's like, I remember that because my sister let me borrow that outfit, and that was the night I met Andrew. The video was taken the night they met, and she ended up living with him for 4 months after that.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So, we'll see what happens in a year.
Yeah.
A little over a year.
He's going to get out, and he's going to go and live on a yacht somewhere.
I mean, I hope he drowns or gets eaten by sharks. Just saying. And I hope he's been raped in jail. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, give me a rich boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's definitely somebody's
Bend over
bitch.
and get that soap for me.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Oh, my God. That was a good story.
I feel gross. I feel so gross right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it wasn't you.
Oh, God. When you said that, I'm like... I thought, here I am thinking I'm telling like just a silly story, but it could have turned bad if God forbid, that drink they were offering us had something in it. And I was just with my girlfriend. We were walking around. You know how you walk around the club to see what's going on? And we were approached.
Well, and the college girl who was at the club with her friend, the male friend, he drugged both of them at the club.
Oh my God. The minute we end this, I'm going inside and telling Vinny the update, because he doesn't know that, but I'm going to tell him, like, guess what? I just put 2 and 2 together, and guess what happened? Oh,
you wouldn't have let that happen.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, no. First of all, I had a thing back then. I never took drinks from clubs from anybody, ever, unless, you know, we pooled our money together as girlfriends, and we ordered our own drink. We never drank, and we never kept our drink on the bar.
Don't leave your drink. Yeah. Don't get up and go to the bathroom and leave your drink. If you're with a girlfriend, somebody that you trust, that knows you, like, okay.
Yeah.
But don't get up and leave your drink and then think you're going to come back to it. Like, if you got to pee, go pee before you order another drink. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, just bring your drink when you go pee.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could
drink
do
on
that
the
too.
bowl.
I'm just thinking in the bathrooms.
Listen, those bathrooms aren't exactly clean anyway.
Exactly. I mean, people have puked and peed everywhere all over. Oh, God,
amongst other things. Oh,
I can smell it right now. I can smell those clubs right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that, Kat, that story. And
and you requested this, by the way.
I did.
Yes, you did.
It's terrifying. It really is. We're going to have an update on this because he's getting out probably in 2026. We're going to have to just do like a quick update.
About a year and a half.
Oh,
and the last update was just last month. I mean, it just happened literally a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
was his last appeal for early release, but they're like, getting out in a year and a half anyway, dude. Like,
right.
You're done.
The world has changed a lot, Andrew.
Fuck Andrew Lester.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Oh, well, because you don't want to leave you hanging, for more information on this awesome, really flowery case, please check out After That. Only available on Patreon. You know what I'm going to do also? I'm going to post a picture on the Patreon of the Limelight, the club that I met him at. Okay. Well, I didn't meet him, but the club that I saw him at.
And remember, follow us, unless we pissed you off. Follow Crime Chat with Nat and Cat on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, and we're on Rumble now, so see what we got going on.
Yes, remember Crime Chat with Nat and Cat. When you become a VIP chatter to our Patreon, you'll have access to bonus episodes, behind the scenes, bloopers, and free merch, and check out some merch in the works.
And check out our next episode. It's Natalie's story. Do you know what you're doing yet?
No.
Okay.
But I will. I'll give you, I have about 3 different stories I'm mulling over. Mm-hmm. I just got, honestly, like I said before, I kind of got like sidetracked with Tubi movies. But I will put the remote down and I will figure out which one I'm doing.
I just forwarded us an article that I think I'm going to do in place of one of the ones I already have scheduled.
Okay.
The CIA turned a San Francisco brothel into a stuff of nightmares. In the 1950s.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's do it. Yes, Kat and I have a completely different system when it comes to stories. Kat likes to be very organized and have an agenda, and I just like shoot from the hip like Russian roulette. Like, what am I doing now?
Okay, it's part of my mental schisms.
Oh my God.
Like, I need to have a good idea so I know how to plan out my time. Or it ends up like a day like today where it was all a clusterfuck. So there you go.
Right. Well, either way, you don't want to miss it.
We'll see you next time, chatters.
Bye.